Oh, Johanna, how are you? Can you hear me, Johanna?
I can. Hello.
Okay, how are you? It's great to see you. Technology is not wonderful when we get confused by it. I'm always confused by it. I don't know about you, but it sends me the wrong direction all the time.
It would appear that I had two links, so I was sitting in the waiting room on the other link.
Okay, because I was trying to find you in the waiting room then to bring you up here, and I couldn't find you. So
I'm so
great fun, great fun.
sorry. Oh, bless you.
That's all right.
I sat there
That's all right.
patiently. Yeah.
You're very good. You're very good. It's great to have you here. So thank you
Hello.
for joining us. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for asking me.
So Johanna, just let people know who you are. A lot of people know who you are already, right? But we have people who join this webinar from all over the world, literally, and a lot of people watch the replays. So just tell us about yourself, where you're located, and the type of photography you do.
So I am located in Hampshire in the UK, and I primarily shoot boudoir.
Okay, so you weren't always a photographer though, right? Tell us about some of your background.
No, I did lots and lots and lots of jobs during my early 20s, and then trained to become a midwife. So I was a midwife for 15 years and loved that very much. Good fun.
And when you got into the photography then, was that did you start in boudoir from the beginning, or did you start doing weddings and then adapt, or what was that journey like?
No. I couldn't shoot weddings. No, that's not my thing at all. Too much of a control freak to shoot weddings. I had to have a winter wedding because I couldn't deal with UK. I couldn't. Yeah, I obviously, because I was a midwife, loved pregnant women. They look beautiful. So then shot pregnancy primarily, then they had their babies, then the babies grew up and the referrals and families happened, and that's when I got my first studio, was for doing primarily families.
Okay, and how did that evolve into boudoir then, to specialize in boudoir?
Well, it kind of happened accidentally. I was at the photography show looking for leads for pregnant women, because I had the baby leads. I think it was called Bounty at the time. I don't know if they still do it. And this is what, 2009, 2008, 2009. And yeah, I wanted the pregnancy leads, because I was finding out about these babies when so I was walking around and I discovered somebody who was selling leads for makeovers / potentially boudoir soon. So at the time they said, "Oh, do you shoot boudoir?" I said, "Yeah." It was a lie. We had a derelict floor upstairs. So within a few weeks, we kitted out the floor upstairs and renovated it and took on these leads and became a makeover studios for quite a while. So we had families on the ground floor, makeovers on the first floor, 20, 30 shoots a week, big team. It just grew and grew and turned into quite a bit of a monster. And during that time, we discovered Groupon, and it was back in the early days of Groupon. And we were pretty sly in making sure that our offer on Groupon was only one image, multiple. So that meant we were able to cut our teeth on boudoir really quickly. So we had another, it sounds dreadful, we had a 3-floor building. The top floor wasn't being used at all. It was storage. We turned that into a boudoir studio. And because it was Groupon and we sold hundreds at a time, we were throwing in the boudoir shoots really, really quickly, which meant we could fast track really to what we knew we wanted to become.
Very good. And can I just go back a step then? So
yeah.
So you started with the Glamour makeover before it went to boudoir, is that right? You bought the Glamour makeover leads. So talk to me about what's the difference between boudoir and Glamour makeover?
Well, Glamour, we don't tend to use the word in the UK because that normally means page 3. I know in America, Glamour, and for those in America that don't understand page 3, it's basically topless modeling with newspapers for many, many, many years. So that's how we talk about glamour in the UK. Glamour stateside, and some would call, is makeovers. So it's can be fashion style, be a fashion model for the day, just beauty. We do beauty portraits here actually, and that's what we call them. So I suppose in our studio, beauty portrait is what I would describe it better at. And then boudoir is that with less clothing on, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about psychology today, right? And the importance of mindset as well, and how to connect with a client, and all those important things. So talk to me about, if we talk about connecting with clients, right? So a woman who wants to do a makeover or glamour in the American term of glamour, or boudoir, what makes them different, or is there a difference?
Can I just stop you a minute? Hang on a minute. I don't know why.
Did I freeze on you?
Bear with. You did freeze on me.
Okay. Because you froze on me too, and I don't know whether it's your internet or my internet.
I think we did. This is almost what we love about live, isn't it? Sorry, what were you saying?
What I was saying was, so you've done a makeover, or a glamour as they say in America, and you do boudoir, right? So, and we're going to talk about psychology and connecting with clients. So are women who prefer boudoir over makeover, or vice versa, are they different in terms of what they're looking for out of the experience and how it makes them feel? Or why does a woman choose to go boudoir rather than makeover? Or do they do both?
They do both, basically. Yeah. So for us, what we're doing is we're selling an experience, and that basically is going to be whatever problem that they have, or how solution to that. So when we get to know them and we find out what they want, we're going to dive a bit deeper into what the problem is, how do they feel, and we're creating a kind of bespoke experience around them. So the genre can kind of slide between the two. For some ladies, they'll come to us talking about beauty portrait, when deep down what they really want to do is a bit of boudoir, but they're not brave enough to ask. And we can get that out of them during chatting and encourage them and reassure them. And then that we can do a mix, and that's where it sits, and it's very lovely. So yeah, you never quite know where a shoot's going to start from, but we help them through it.
So the talking to the client and building that know, like, and trust is obviously key in your process of making that connection, right? Can you just talk to us a little bit about how you do that, or how you approach that, or how do you get a woman to share with you what she wants, or what she'd like to do in the experience?
So for us, really, I mean, we found that initially your first point of contact with us could be anything. So it could be that Instagram post, that referral from a friend. That we're very mindful of everything that we put out there at the beginning of someone's journey could be the first impression. So we speak with a really, really strong voice as to who we are, and that we're the problem solvers that you're looking for. So for a lot of women, when they see us, they don't even really realize that they've got a problem as such. Sounds awful, because not everyone has a problem that comes to us, but a vast majority just can't quite put their finger on what the problem long time, and we're reminding them that they've been doing that, and that maybe they should do something positive for themselves, if that makes sense. So we get a lot of ladies that come to us and say, I had no idea that I needed this, and thank you, if you see what I mean. So what we've done is we've made sure that from the very first contact, so that image that they stumble across, that message that they stumble across, and then dropping into what I call my funnel, and different points of contact, we're going to build trust, because that's vital. And I think that's not genre dependent. at all. I think that everybody should be very mindful of the person that's in front of them. So how would you want to be treated? How would you want to be spoken to? How would you, if you were in, so we're always very mindful of those things, and how sheer terrifying it is to just even have a camera pointed at you, let alone being put around a studio doing different things. It's regardless of state of dress, and that is magnified when you're wearing less and less. It's magnified when you're going through the menopause and you don't know your body anymore. It's magnified after 3 kids and you hate your tummy. You know, that all of those senses are absolutely heightened, and it's a very scary thing to ask a woman to do. But we're there to kind of cajole along, reassure, make you feel good, and just say, jump, do it, come on, you won't regret it. And I love that. And I love the fact that these women are willing to like take that step and trust in us, really. And trust is a big, big word, isn't it? I think it gets used a lot. People will buy from people that they know. That's absolutely vital, I think, absolutely vital. Because if you don't have that, you don't have anything. And you certainly can't build a business without it, a successful business.
So do you spend a lot of time, do you and your team spend a lot of time talking to your clients prior to the experience?
Yes. So before lockdown, it would only be a matter of weeks between first contact and the sale. That's expanded hugely now. So we're fully booked till September. So we are actually putting in a few more touch points because the experience journey is getting really long because women are having to wait to get into our diary. So that is something I'm looking at because I don't want to let people, I sort of see people as cold, lead, don't know about us, red hot booked, traffic light colouring system. They go from blue cold to hot red, and we need to keep them really warm in the middle, keep them attention on them, keep them excited. We have a fortnightly newsletter that goes out, so I suppose that's a point of contact. They feel like they've just had a touch from us. But the big thing is the consultation for our women. Nobody can step in here and have a shoot without one. It's a vital, vital part of very careful processes that we have in place. Because if you can't educate them, if you can't excite them, if you can't encourage them, all those E's that I write down when I'm teaching, you know, if you don't hit those points every single time, then you're going to drop the ball and it will show in your final sale. Every time it affects things. So we've kind of learned over the years that we're keeping that alive through, and that sense of excitement and trying to bat away all the nerves that naturally kick in.
And do you do the pre-shoot consultation? Do you handle that part of the process?
No, I don't. I do the occasional one. I've got one, what's the day today? Saturday.
Thursday.
Yes, Thursday. I've got one on Saturday, and that's on Zoom because obviously with COVID, and we used to insist that they all came in for their consultation. We showed them around, a cup of tea, look at the images, look at the studio, feel comfortable, have a dry run of how to get there, where to park. So it's all less panicky on the day. And then COVID came. And around just before COVID came, I would say in the year before, we had issues. No, it's not an issue. I'm they traveled to us from across the country to enter our diary. So it's not possible for them to drive 3 hours just for a consultation, drive 3 hours for the shoot, drive 3 hours for the reveal over a matter of weeks. So we introduced the Zoom consultation because of COVID, and have discovered that that's probably going to stay in place now for the people who are coming from further afield. And it's worked out really well because you can do face-to-face, you can see each other in the eye, and you can answer all the questions. But yeah, that has to happen. It's an important appointment, very.
So in the experience then, are you the main photographer, or is there somebody else in the business who does that?
So Ange, sorry, that was where I was going to continue, sorry. Ange is my right-hand woman. So she's studio manager slash joyous one who pumps everybody up. She does well and consultations and a lot of the booking calls. So she's the one clapping and whooping all the time to people, and people will see her on our social media. We're often, call it dicking about on Instagram. But yeah, she does all of that for me. And yeah, it works really, really well because I like it that way, I've discovered, because I can be a little bit further removed from the situation, which sounds strange. You would think I'd want to be really involved with that. But as long as the right notes have been taken, I have a really good chat for 10 minutes before we start the shoot anyway. So I can review everything that has been spoken about in the consultation. And I'm not a great saleswoman. I'm a good saleswoman, but I'm not great. Ange finds it easier to sell because they're not her photos. So she hasn't got that connection that I as high as I wanted them to. My poker face isn't so good anymore. It was great when I was a midwife. My poker face was brilliant, but apparently it's not so good these days.
So
yeah, couldn't do it without my team.
So Ange does the discovery calls then and the pre-shoot consultations and writes a script for you then as to what this client is expecting out of the experience. And they're your notes. Does that inform the type of photography that you capture during the experience?
Yeah. So we have, it's a booklet, it's called our profile card. And in there is all of the person's details, her personal details, things that she shared during the consultation. Ange doesn't use it in the consultation, but she's memorized it so she can fill it out afterwards. That's important. Otherwise it's a bit like a tick list. Visually later to make sure that you've mentioned everything. We definitely ask them to visualize. How would it feel to see a portrait of you? How would somebody you love? I always love that. Who's the person that you're closest to on the planet? I'll say, oh, my partner, my mom. And we'll say, if they could describe you, what words would they use to describe you? And then we'll take one of those words, which is often strong, beautiful. We're like, if we could create portraits that make you feel like that, what would it mean to you? And they're like, oh, that would mean everything. And we're like, well, we're going to create that, and that's what you're going to see on your wall. Ding. Just put that in there, so we're just, even at the consultation stage, we're getting them to start to think about product. We're getting them to think about the end game, because otherwise it can be very much, I had a lovely experience. It was great. Thanks. You've really changed the way I see myself. We do want that, but on the other side, we equally want them to buy portraits.
So is Ange then anchoring as part of that process what the client, they're visualizing what they will invest in?
Yeah. Leading questions like, have you thought about what you'd like from your portraits? Have you looked at what we do? Because it's all on our website. Have you seen it? Have you got any thoughts about what you'd love most? And they're like, oh yeah, no, I'd really like something up on the bedroom wall. I'd really like X, Y, Z. And it means that we can then at that point say to the client, well, let's shoot for that. Let's really create that. Let's make this, perfect for you. This is bespoke. This is exactly what we're looking for. You're kind of commissioning what you'd love most. Now, rather interestingly, we came back from lockdown with some different wall art samples, and Ange, I don't know what she's doing in the consultations. I need to sit in on one and listen to her. She's sold so much wall art since we reopened. It's ridiculous. And that's on top of our collection boxes that we get from you guys. She's adding wall art on now, which is just flying. I've got a whiteboard over there. There's 19 pieces of wall art sitting in production right now, and that's just unreal for us. So it's nice to have those extra little bits going on, really. Really nice.
So when somebody does boudoir, right, and they're investing in wall art, is this for the bedroom, or do you take shots that might be a piece of art that you don't even, only the woman knows it's her, and it might go in the living room or the hall, or how does all that work?
Well, we encourage them to say, you know, I find personally with boudoir, it's wall art is like Marmite. You either yes or you'll no. There's not really any in the middle as to, do you want to share and display these or don't you? So for us with the, oh my God, what do you guys call them? I call them a reveal box with the window at the front.
Yeah,
you know,
folio
when
box, yeah, reveal box.
Yeah, when they're shy and they're like, oh no, I don't want to have anything. We're like, well, you know, we'll just put a headshot in the front and all the naughty ones in the back. So you can get them out when you're feeling low, or you can change them around when you want. When your mum's coming, just change the picture at the front. So we can sell those no problem at all to anybody really, whether they want to show them off or not. With wall art, yeah, it's all been pretty much surprising actually. I think I always tell you always why you don't do something. So for many years where I wasn't confident in selling it, I would say that women didn't want it. Women don't want wall art. They're quite private. They like to be able to just tuck it away. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. They really do. So yeah, it's nice to be able to provide that for them, really. Very much so.
And women who come for boudoir, do you involve their partner in any way in the process, or?
Kind of. From booking, we talk about them. So who you with, you know, what's his name? We kind of want to get to know who he is. What does he do for a living? Because we're kind of interested in that demographically. And we'll say, you know, does he know that you're doing this? And when they tell us, no, this is a surprise, we're like, well, does he have to be involved in the decision making at the end? Oh yeah, yes. Well, you need to tell him. So we'll say the reason why we're saying this is not because of the sale, but what we have found in the past with our experience is that the men, do you know, it doesn't have to be a man, does it? The partner will love the surprise, will think it's amazing and isn't it wonderful, but they always seem to say, if only I'd known you were doing this, I'd have asked you to do this, that and the other. You know, that's our way of kind of pulling him into the experience. And then for some people we'll say, well, you also need to include your partner in the journey. How are they going to appreciate the end of it and the costs involved if they haven't walked the walk with you? They haven't seen you nervous the night before. They haven't been involved in any way. They couldn't be, you know, we talk about the woman being the emotional person and the partner / fella being the logical one. Well, that you couldn't make anyone more logical by excluding them from the emotional part of the journey. He needs to be present. He needs to witness you blossoming. He needs to witness the effort that you're making and support you through that. So when you start talking to your clients about those kind of insights, they have light bulb moments and go, oh yeah, you're right. And I'm like, just send them the link to the email, send them the link to the website, just send it on, just put it under their nose, just see what they say. But we really recommend that they step on board. And of course that does help the final sale, because I know personally, just out of respect, I'm in charge of my life. You know, I don't have to ask my husband's permission for anything. We're a partnership and we have kids and responsibilities. So I expect other women to be in that situation as well sometimes. So
you were just answered the question that I was going to ask, which is, does the sale go up when you involve the partner? So good job. You beat me to it. I don't have to do anything here. This is really, really easy.
You're welcome.
So Johanna, talk to me then about the experience itself. So is is your colleague with you during the experience to direct or fix hair, or does Angie not get involved in that?
She's if she's on shift, then she's around to jazz hands and say hi. She'll stick her head in and like, show me what you've brought, you know, discussing what they talked about in the consultation. And it's like, it can be I have Evie who's been hair makeup artist, so she'll do the hair and makeup, and then she stays with me through the shoot as my spotter. She's checking things all the time and reducing shine on the face, you know, that kind of thing. So I'll be the client, myself and Evie during the shoot itself.
Okay.
Not a huge team, not the team we had years ago. Now it's just us. It's very small.
So tell me this, people will be surprised to hear this. So the team's smaller. Do you make more money today than when the team was bigger?
Far more money.
There you go. That's something, because I've made that in the past mistake in business, you know, where you build a team and you get bigger and bigger and bigger and you drive the sale and you think the profit will come, and quite often it doesn't, right?
It really doesn't. No, we were there for many, many years. I call it to be at conferences and talking to people, and people be like, oh my God, I want to be like you. I want to have a studio. I want a big team. I want to do what you're doing. And I'd just be going, no, you really don't. I haven't slept in weeks. It's very stressful. It's very stressful. But, you know, at the time I knew it was wrong. It felt wrong. It felt uncomfortable. It felt rushed. I knew that I wanted to raise our average sales. So at the time it was maybe 400, something like that. But, you know, 20, 30 shoots a week, that's fine. The numbers kind of made sense. I stopped shooting for a few years because I needed to run the place. I couldn't shoot as well. But I wanted to get the average sale. And I can remember going to training where the average sale was like £700-800 and elbowing my friend and going, how do they get there? We couldn't figure out how to make that step. And steps, and we were running past those average sales we dreamt about and just kept running. And it's been wonderful. But the key was flipping the business from a low average sale, high bums on seats, the other way. And we did that slowly and carefully. And yeah, we're there now. And we're very stable, so it's good.
Very good. So talk to me about these. So a lot of the consultations have moved on to Zoom, which has meant less friction for your client having to come in, and then they come in for the experience, and then the reveal. How does that happen?
I will say that we're reintroducing the in-house consultations, which has been quite lovely. We've got 2 floors here, and the first floor here in the building, I'm on the top floor of a 3-floor building. On the first floor, we had a floor that was empty. I didn't want anyone else to get it, and I didn't want it. Before then, the reveals were in a little room up here, really little room. So when you open the door, we did the reveals, we do the reveal wall, ta-da, and their knees buckle, and it's just so exciting and wonderful. And the psychology of printed reveals can't be denied. It's just a beautiful thing, and it guarantees our sales, I would say. And that room was too small for social distancing. And we were bringing more wall art on board. So I was like, that floor downstairs, which is enormous, could we turn that into a really big reveal room? So we did, yeah. So now we've got like this, it's like 5 times the size of what but I wasn't going to let anyone else rent that space. It's mine. And we hold all of our reveals down there now. And instead of having a door that opens to the reveal wall, we pull a blind up and go, ta-da! And they see their portraits for the first time. Of course, all those walls down there mean that we've got lots of wall art samples, which I'm sure is why we've got a whiteboard full of orders. But, you know, the reveal for us, is a culmination of lots and lots of hard work that's gone into that relationship throughout. We do a lot of filtering, kind, friendly, loving filtering throughout our process. So our leads will drop into the top of our funnel, and at every point of contact, we encourage them to understand prices. They are educated on price. We educate them on experience so that they never have any doubt as to what's going to happen. So they feel safe. They don't feel ambushed at any point. There's no bait and switch. You know, everything just feels super, super genuine. And do you know what? I just said feels super genuine. It is super genuine. There is very different way of doing business where you're taught to care. You're taught to find out your why. You're taught to come across as sincere. Well, how about you do that? How about you be that? You know, be kind, be positive, be generous, you know, and people know. They really know now. They can tell if you're faking it. So the reveal for us is kind of just like scoring the goal at the end, because we've set it up all the way through the experience. I call it letting go with love. So we let them go. We say, maybe now's not the right time for you to be having a luxury experience. We'd hate you to feel disappointed at the end when you go home and you can't take what you want. Why don't you go and wait and come back when the time is right for you? So you noticed in that wording that I use, I'm saying you. I'm not saying me. It's not about us. It's about you. And people genuinely pick up positively to that. You know, I said, you know, it was really lovely meeting you, really lovely talking with you. You know, keep in touch, let us know. And hopefully if you're at a dinner party next week and someone says that they fancy boudoir photography, who are you going to talk about? And they're like, oh, 100% you. They're not even booked with us. They've just stepped out of the experience. But they're out there in the community they're a client or not. So, you know, we're giving them plenty of opportunities to step out of the process. So the ones that are left and come forward for shoot, they're educated, they're excited, they know what they're doing and they know what they want. So we opened middle April. We've had one person not buy a collection. That's good.
So what do you refer to as a collection? Is a collection, just describe to us what a collection is for you.
Shall I show you?
Yes.
It just so happens. So we have, it's really important as business owners for us to know our numbers. So we need to know what our average sale needs to be. Not what we want it to be. What does it get? So, and that's not just average sale to get the turnover we want. It's average sale that feeds into the income that we want. So there are cost of doing business spreadsheets out there where people can, you can fill in everything that you want in the back end and it will churn out a number and say, this is your average sale. So we did that maths. We know what our average sale must be. So we offer 3 collections. The average sale that we must have is our middle collection price. I call it the Goldilocks. So it's not too much, not too little, it's just right. So we want to, I've never quite understood how this happens, but the psychology is that most of your clients will go for the middle collection. Some will go high, some will go low. If you set your average sale need, so for example, ours is 1,500. That's is 1,500. So our average sale is 1,500. It's amazing. It's like some kind of magic as to how that works. I will add on that at the moment with the wall art that we've bolted on top, our average sale is 2,300 since lockdown lifted. I'm enjoying the heyday of the roaring 20s for a while. I don't know how long it will last. So our smallest collection, we have, is it the diamond box, do you call it? I never remember
yes.
what you guys call it. I just know what diamond box. Yeah.
And there's 5 in that, is it?
And that's our smallest collection.
We've just lost you, Johanna, I think. Your internet's been a little bit come and go-y. Hopefully you'll be back to us.
Oh no.
Yeah, so there you go. There you
Hang on
go.
a minute.
It's coming and going a little bit on us, Johanna. I don't know if you're plugged into the wall or not. Alrighty, so while Joanna's doing that, so what she was holding there is the 3XM diamond box. So it holds 5 matted prints, and that's her bottom end collection, of the collections. So she's three choices in the collections. How's that? Can you hear me okay?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I've tried a different way of being connected to the internet. We'll see how that works for a while.
Okay.
So yes, well, good filling, Ronan. Well done. I could hear you. So yeah, so my bottom collection is priced at £9.50, which is my ouch price. So if my client spends that, that's anything lower than that is going to hurt. It's a psychological thing for me personally, is that I don't want to spend half a day looking after someone and earn less than £1,000. That's where my head's at. So that's my ouch point. My average sale is the middle collection. And for the middle and the top collection that we have your new...
The window folio. Excellent.
Love. So absolutely stunning, bloody heavy. So that we have for the middle and top collection, because I want my clients to reach from the bottom to the middle, because they see that and they want that. It's really popular. So if I handed that over for the first collection, you can find 6 of the best. Everyone would just buy 6 of the best, potentially. I'm not risking that. So I've got my little gold thing in the middle and top collection. So those are the 3 collections that we have. We have a show reel that we do, which is just an Animoto that we sell. We sell an Animoto for $950. I think we've sold 2 or 3 of those since lockdown, because the person has just wanted a record of everything and wasn't worried about print. But we are not, top collection, I've just seen a little message from Guy, 2,200. So, and we've sold 5 or 6 of those since we reopened. We'll go through the questions at the end, I guess.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
Because I want to go
through my eye at the bottom, and I can't see them all. I only see the first few words. Yeah. So
let's just recap for everybody, right? Yeah. So we have 3 in the print collection, and people come in for the reveal. There's a slideshow to music.
Right? No, the reveal wall.
The reveal wall first. Okay. So no slideshow to music. Reveal wall. Curtain goes back.
Ta-da!
Their knees buckle and they go all And you talked about the psychology, right, of the interaction with the matted print. Can you just talk a little bit to that? Because some people in the past have told me that when they try to do this, that some of their clients are reluctant to interact and actually hold the matted print themselves. How do you deal with that?
They can sometimes be scared to step forward. So we're like, you can get closer if you want. So we're like, come on. So we get them up close. We're just going to encourage them to just get up in them, touch them, feel them, look at them. There are different sales techniques that can go on from here that I've learnt. I haven't really got around to testing them, to be honest. Ones where you take them all off the wall, you give them a pile because they're holding them, they can't let them go. Ways of putting them into want, not want piles, and there's or having a reveal box for them to put them in. There's lots of different things that you can do at that point. For us personally, like I said, we just haven't had the time, and when something works, we tend to stick with it for a while.
Exactly.
So we're like, if you want to move them around, or do you want me to? Sometimes it helps. I mean, the big thing that we do is there's often a stunned silence that can go on for 10, 15, 20 minutes. So I will be sat somewhere local, pinching my bracelet behind my back, digging my fingernails into my palm of my hand, stopping myself from speaking. She who speaks first pays. Don't say a freaking word, just shut up. And for me, as you can tell, I'm quite chatty. I can't stop myself sometimes. And I'm really excited. They're excited. It's all wonderful. So sometimes to break the ice, I'll say, oh, I love that outfit. Where did you say it was from? So you could say that about a blouse. You could say that about a kid's toy, I guess. Like, oh, it just looks so cute. You know, just trying to break the ice slightly, but mostly it's just shut up. And it can be the hardest thing. Very occasionally, if it just goes, I've no idea, 15 minutes is a long time when you just want them, to put you out of your misery and tell you what they're doing. Because you're pretty sure you've got a sale, but you just don't know what. And you just think, oh, just say it. Just shoot me now. I can't handle it. And I'll say, so have you thought about what you want to do with portraits? And it's the ones that go, no, and then stand there for another 10 minutes and you're like, oh my God, just tell me. It can be really hard sometimes because people don't want to be sold to, but we are we're very reassuring that we're not selling. We're not saleswomen. We're just going to, I often say, they'll go, oh, what do we do now? And I'll go, I've done my bit. It's all up to you now. What do you want to do? You know, and just give them the permission to, and then depending on who they've got with them, that changes the dynamic. You've got the partner who doesn't care. You've got the partner who's threatened. You've got the partner who's so in love with what he's looking at. There's so many different, I could write a book, Confessions of a Boudoir Photographer, I think. But you're just learning how to read people, learning when to shut up, learning when to be encouraging as well. Because sometimes I want to say, like I can just tell that they need permission to spend or permission to even step up and look at them. You know, it just, yeah, I think you just get used to that over many years of just working with people in that environment, really.
So yeah. Before we talk about the wall art process that follows this, right, I just want to just go back a step if I can for a second. So Johanna, you when they're making, and they could be 20 minutes, right, just flabbergasted by their amazing images and they're not quite sure what to do, and you give them the space to absorb everything, right, because there's a lot to be absorbed. How many images will be on the wall? About 30, 40? Between
20 and 30.
Between 20 and 30.
We average 25. We'll have 20 if, and also don't forget, we're also asking the client throughout the experience, what do you want to do with your portraits? And we do get a lot of women who feel comfortable enough to say, I'm only going to go for what we call the beautiful collection, which is 6 portraits. And I'll be like, that's fantastic. Let's just shoot for that. I don't want you to be overwhelmed when you look at your portraits. I mean, we don't mention the reveal wall, it's a surprise. I don't want you to be overwhelmed. Let's shoot for what you want. I'll throw a few extras in. I'll do a few extras so there's some choice. But what I don't want you to do is be faced with multiple images that you're going to say goodbye to. I mean, there's many that would say, oh God, no, you treat everyone the same. You shoot as much as you can and then upsell. I'm like, no, my time is precious. I need to pay an editor for the images. You know, I want to turn it into a more of a bespoke commission situation for me, not just for them. And it just means I'm working smarter, I think. So yeah, there's going to be the odd one that would have bought 12 in my middle collection that we shoot for 6. But essentially overall, I've got my sale, remember, I'm happy. They're happy. They don't feel they've been upsold to and we've just done what everybody wants. There is a large number of women who say, I don't really know. So they're going to just get our average, you know, number of images. I did have a lady, which has made me stop and think, and I'm a little unsure. She came for a shoot in December for Bridal Boudoir. The weather outside was horrendous. It was pretty much dark. And she wanted the light bridal stuff with our big windows. I was like, It's not going to happen. I'm a good photographer, but I can't sort out the sunshine for you. So I said, because our wedding wasn't going to be till June this year, why don't we do the night ones today? And why don't I spot you a second shoot so that we can do the daylight ones another day? So it got pushed back because of another lockdown. She eventually came in a couple of weeks ago. So we ended up with 45 images, portraits. We couldn't fit them all on the wall. They were all around the room, on top of the sofa, and I don't know, it was just crazy. And that was a 5,300 sale because she bought them all. Because our top collection is all, it isn't a number, it's I want everything. So, and she bought 4 pieces of wall art as well. So it was a fantastic sale. So I don't know, part of me sort of thought maybe I should show more. I don't know. I'm quite happy with the system, really.
So Johanna, talk to me about, so you mentioned, right, and it's a really hard thing, as you said, to do, to let the client absorb it all and you to stay quiet, and you could be there for 20 minutes, right? Yeah. How important is it for you to stay in the room with them versus give them some space and leave the room? Have you ever done that, or what's your thoughts on that?
I'll never leave anyone with an unpurchased portrait. Nope. It's too easy now. It's too easy now. I don't want to tell someone that they can't photograph that photo. It's too easy for people to just whip a phone out, and because everyone's recording life now, they're recording their lunch, they're recording this, they're recording everything. You know, they don't see it as what I call essentially shoplifting. They don't see it like that. They're recording a moment. So it's too quick for them to, if I stepped out, they film the wall, but they won't realize it, just won't. And I don't want to embarrass them by going, I'm so sorry, you can't. You know, it's not like when you're doing a digital reveal and you need to step out and give them some space. You can switch the screen off and walk out to let them chat. Yes. The reveal wall, you can't leave them there, no matter how much I've pre-qualified them, because they might just do it out of genuine, and then I've got to embarrass them. So no, I'm not going to put them in that, I'm not putting them in that position, really.
Okay, so tell me this, right? Because a lot of photographers do the opposite to you, right? So they'll sell for the wall first, and then the images that are left, they'll sell in a folio box, right? Or an album. So talk to me about, they've chosen the folio box collection first, right? And then you go on to sell for the wall, is that correct?
Yeah, so don't forget, we know what they want. So we know if they're a wall art person, because we've known that since the consultation. Hopefully I've shot for that wall art, because I've said, so tell me about where you're thinking this wall art's going to be. They'll be like, oh, it's in the bedroom. What kind of furniture do you have? Oh, I've got all white furniture. Oh, a window shot would look amazing, wouldn't it? They're like, oh yeah. So we're kind of designing it kind of casually all the way through. So we'll be like, well, these are the ones that we thought. Sometimes I'll put them in the middle of the reveal wall. I'll be like, these are the ones that I was thinking would be great for the wall art. So let's get the collection box. If we know that they're ordering wall art, then sometimes we'll do the wall art first before we step up to the wall and do the box, because they've come to us for wall art. And then I'm like, would you like a collection too? And they're like, okay, I love them, I can't leave them behind. And then we upsell the wall art to include a collection box. But for a lot of people, until they've actually seen it and gone, oh my God, they haven't thought that they were good enough to go on the wall as a person. They still, to the point of seeing those images, I thought I was only gonna like one. That voice on their shoulder is still telling them that they're not good enough. And then they see the portraits. So then the opportunities are endless, aren't they? So even the people who weren't even talking about a collection, a wall art, are suddenly in the game for a wall art. So we always make sure that with all of our clients, we're like, so anything for the wall? So they're like, maybe. Well, let me talk you through it. This is how it works. And when people buy, we've got a page for collections and we've got a page for wall art. Our wall art has 2 columns. The first column is the RRP. The second column is a discount price. If you buy something from the collection page and a piece of wall art, you're going to get the discount price on the wall art. It becomes a bit of a no-brainer. You've got to do it today though. So if there's a little part of you that really wants this, now's the time to do it. And they're like, oh yeah, okay, let's do it. And then they'll grab a piece of wall art as well, and we can design that around them.
Excellent. And just talk to us about the wall art. So like, is there 642 choices, or is it really, really Here's
No.
the choice, and there's 3 or 4 choices, and it's really simple. And how do you deal with that?
So at this point, what I'll do is I will, give a shout out to 2 people. One was Sue Bryce for obviously the selling of the reveal wall and how that works. That's where I learned that many years ago and changed my business model at first to become more high end, to follow those teachings. Once I got the reveal wall going, we weren't really selling wall art. You can't get your average sale above that middle collection. You plateau. You can't go anywhere unless you put your prices up. And I knew that. I was like, I can't climb. How can I climb? The only way we can do that is with wall art. How can I sell wall art? So I looked and I thought about it. Dropped in on Megan DePiero, discovered her. Everything that I've done training wise and progressive has been stateside. Jumped in with Megan's training, and I use her basic template for wall art. It's super simple. 3 of everything, 5 of everything. It's just very, very simple, laid out. And what it does for me, as well as knowing what my average sale needs to be, and obviously that my wall art is priced what it has to be, not with, for example, back in the day when we used to sell wall art, I'd say to my team, how much would you pay for that? And they go, I don't know, 600? And I go, yeah. And I go, the bigger one next to it, so that needs to be 750, and the one below needs to be 550. And we go, yeah. That was our wall art pricing. That was how we laid our stall out. By what do you think people would pay for it, and then tweaking it accordingly? With these teachings, I was able to know what my prices of my wall art needs to be. And that in turn psychologically gives me the confidence to stand up and say, this wall art is 1,200. Because it has to be 1,200. There is no, I haven't picked a number out of the air. I haven't said that's because of what I think it's worth. That's what I need to charge for it. And that, that confidence speaks volumes, I think, within the sales room, because people can smell fear. They know. They know if you're not confident and you don't own your numbers and you don't know your numbers. To own them, you have to know them. So that's what's given us a massive bolster in the last few years of bolting that on, really, and just propelling things up another level. So yeah, very pleased.
Very good. So we'll take a few questions, Johanna. So Sarah asked, if you do a printed reveal, how long does it take between session and reveal? Minimum
of 7 days. And we book their reveal at the consultation. So for example, I'm booking people today. I've booked their consultation for any time in the next 2 or 3 weeks because of the filter element. I want them in and out the diary if they're not going to go forward. So the reveal happens fairly, the consultation happens fairly quickly. So at the booking, we book the consultation and the shoot. And then at the consultation, we book the reveal. We book the 3rd appointment because we say it's good for you to know when the final appointment is. And, they've then got a prize in the distance as to that's the day that you need to be working forward to get what you want. So that works really, really well for us. And it keeps things tight. I know how many reveals I've got this month.
And Johanna, Sarah's also worried about, she's questioning the print time and the price involved on the basis that what happens if the sale doesn't take place? Or what happens if they don't buy everything you print?
My husband's in a drum in the back garden burning print after print after print, getting high on the fumes. We have quite a bit of wastage, because if you think about it, we're doing 25 portraits. The slipping mounts are reusable, which is great. But you've got 25 prints there, but they've not cost a huge amount of money. We've got them printed at a good quality lab where the cost isn't huge, and I can absorb that, and it's negligible really as to the cost of those prints that are wasted.
It's built into the numbers, right? Into your cost of goods average.
There. Yeah, very much so.
So Darren then wants to know, what would you estimate to be the average age of your boudoir clients? So I think he's talking about your client avatar. Is that your ideal client avatar? Is that fixed between a certain age range, or how do you deal with that?
So I have an avatar. I know her really well. I know her name. I know her age. You know, she's 48. You know, same age as me nearly. So it's just, I know her really well. All of my marketing, website, everything is written talking to her. And then everyone else on the peripheral thinks I'm talking to them. So I have a conversation with her constantly within my marketing. I'm serving her. I'm solving her problems. What was the question?
And what's the average age? I think you've just answered it.
That's it. I did. I kind of late 40s, early 50s. That's the ideal sweet age, I think. You know, kids have flown the nest a bit. There's a little bit of residual income coming in. That doesn't mean we're not getting incredible orders from ladies in their 20s, you know, but I would say average late 40s.
So Jerry's wondering, how do you deal with clients who ask, do you keep the files, or even do you keep the prints that I don't buy today? And if you don't keep them, what do you do with them? And
we make it, we make it really, really clear that we're not saving any unordered portraits. So they have confirmation of that in writing at when they book the reveal session. We're not going to pressure sell. This is the date. Move your reveal if the time is not good for you. Move. We will not be holding any unordered portraits. So that when it comes to the sale, we'll be like, we're not saving them. I'm so sorry, we can't. So it means that it just reduces that question. Everybody who turns up at the reveal is ready to buy. They've been educated on the process, so they don't have anything hidden at the end. I archive all ordered portraits, and I archive quite a few others as well that I love. So I always say, if we do get that random no sale and they're like, oh my God, I wish, I'll say, well, get in touch. You never know, you know, especially if they sign to let us use them, you know, we might keep them. It's always worth giving us a shout, but I won't commit to that. I won't say that I've kept them. It keeps it tight and keeps it lean.
Yes. Sandy wants to know, how much discount do you give in the case of the wall art? So if they buy the collection, they get the wall art. There's the normal price. Here's the discount if you've already bought the collection. What percentage is that?
20%.
20%. Okay.
And that's factored in my numbers.
Jessica wants to know, Johanna, do you sell albums as well?
I'm going to. I'm just in the middle of designing my first album, actually. We're going to do a black label collection later in the year, which we're quite excited about.
So in that case, will the client have a choice of a folio box or an album? Is that how you're going to do that? Or
no, we're going to do our black label service. In my mind, I haven't tested this out yet, and we'll see how it goes. I have mad ideas all the time and test things and they quietly disappear. But this one, I want them to have an album. I want them to have we always supply the digital file of every portrait that people invest in. So they would then have the digital copies. They have the album, an all-day shoot. Normally I do half day. So an all-day shoot, and we'll be adding in extras into that. So I should think what we'll probably do is have a folio box in there as well. So they get everything. So it's basically, the black label collection is going to be a very high price and they get everything. There's no sales. It's just, you know, this is what we're going to price it at. And those that buy it, brilliant. Those that don't, it's fine.
So Abigail wants to know how many are in your middle and your top collection. So the top is 20, right? In the folio box, is that right?
25.
25. Yeah. And then how many is in the middle then?
12.
12 in the middle.
CW portraits. Yeah.
Sarah, I think I can answer this one. What size do you print for the reveal? So it's an 8x6 print and a 10x8 mat.
Very good.
All right. Guy wants to know, have you ever tried to do an instant view? So after the session, they have a cup of tea, coffee, or a glass of champagne or whatever, and then do an instant reveal. You can't really with a print reveal do that, can you?
No, it makes me shudder thinking about that. I mean, for a start, my editor works from home. So she's not here. She was for many years. Now she works from home. Now she's a first-time mum. So she'll turn my images around over the weekend. So it's pretty quick turnaround to get printed. So we've got a nice system. We've done it very occasionally where someone's traveling from, say, Scotland. I mean, come on, you can't You can't come back for the reveal the following week. So, but that's very, very, very rare. And I've had her on standby at home to wire the images over to her, because they've got to be finished for me. I'm not a sellout of camera kind of shooter. I just think we're in for a confidence boost here. And with the best will in the world, you know, you're going to pick holes in yourself and you're not going to feel comfortable watching unedited photos, even if you're saying, and I'm going to edit this for you and I'm going to edit that for you. I don't want those conversations in a reveal. I just want, wow, yeah, how much, let's do it. I don't want to be talking about what we could change, what we can tweak. That's taken away from the power of the experience, I think, for me personally. I know it works for many.
So Lucy says, what's the best way to generate new leads and find clients these days? Oh, there's a loaded question.
Ooh, for that, I would have to charge you a lot of money. So for us, we are full on into the world of Facebook marketing. We're lead generating kind of business. So we don't advertise. I've never advertised really since maybe year 2. I learned very quickly that adverts were not worth anything. So for lead gen is what it's all about for us. We want to get leads in the top of our funnel, and then we convert them, and then we filter them, and then we'll end up with the lovely little gold nugget at the end.
I think you've answered David's question too then, because
Yeah.
he's a BSA member too. So can I ask you if you're advertising on Facebook?
Oh, David, that was it.
Hello. So Jessica, are you?
Oh, can I just add? Can I just add
Yes.
that is a rapidly declining percentage of our clients that are coming in. So we have a lot of repeat clients now. So they're coming back, usually getting more naked with each shoe. They just get progressively naughtier, which is hilarious. We call them repeat offenders. So we'll have a lot of repeat clients, a lot of word of mouth now. We're comfortably in our community, not local community, but just community of women, I guess, in the UK, where we've got a lot of referrals. Our SEO is always being worked on. I've got someone in my team that she's literally a PR and SEO type specialist, does my blogs, does my SEO. She does it specifically for photographers. So if anyone wants the link, I'll give you her link. She's amazing. And I pay her a retainer, and she's on my team as far as I'm concerned. So she'll do PR for us, and she runs all of that, and she does all my newsletters for me and everything. So we're looking at hashtags, we're looking at SEO all the time. We do Google AdWords, that's climbing as well. And Instagram as well. We get quite a few clients just naturally through our bio as well. So we're tracking where they're all coming from all the time. So I know I just flippantly said Facebook marketing, and it's no longer, it was for a while pretty much all we did, but we're strengthening all the others to become less reliant on Mark, basically. Sorry,
Very good. And Connie says, will we be able to rewatch this? Yes, Connie, you will. The recording will be placed in the 3XM Insiders group tomorrow. So you'll be able to sit down and watch Johanna again, because it has been so much great information. Johanna, I know you've got a big heart too, right? So can you just talk to us a little bit about the work you've done with Remember My Baby?
I'd love to, yes. So I know that in the US, we have Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep. I've forgotten what the one in Australia is called. No, it's gone. So yes, I'm a regional coordinator in the UK for the equivalent. It was too difficult for Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep members in the UK to run a branch in the UK, because any fundraising had to go back over the pond, and it was just too complicated to have the charity split across the Atlantic. So some wonderful members got together and they created Remember My Baby as a standalone charity. Nobody's paid. It's just a fantastic charity. Now all the way across the country, we're in hundreds of hospitals, hospices, and funeral homes and everything, and we photograph babies that are born asleep or die soon after birth, and just capture those moments that the parents are not going to remember at all in the fog that they're in. And it's a really powerful thing. And obviously with me having been a midwife before, I always gravitated towards the bereavement side of things. So if we were at the beginning of a shift and there was a lady in our bereavement suite, there was a handful of us that could always be relied on to put our hands up to look after, because a lot of people didn't want to. So I really, the word enjoyed sounds really strange, but I got a lot out of supporting parents through that. So there's many things throughout the NHS that I didn't like, but there was lots about my midwifery career that I absolutely loved and felt sad about leaving behind. So it's nice for me, I guess, to be able to step back into that environment. When I go on a call out, I'm comfortable handling babies, I'm handling, you know, situations. And I guess that's why I was asked a few years ago to become a regional coordinator for the South Coast, which means I have several gang underneath me looking after hospitals, and we go on call outs and stuff. I'm on a little break at the moment because I'm so overwhelmed here at the studio. I've got another regional coordinator involved who's teamed up with me to help me, but I'll never stop doing it, and it means a lot. And we're always trying to fundraise. We always need retouchers. If you don't feel that you can join as a retoucher, you can join as a session coordinator. There's lots of roles if you feel that you can't step into that environment and take the actual photos. There's loads of ways to support the charity. So if anyone ever wants to contact me, then please do, and I'll talk to you about it. So yeah.
So Johanna, thank you so much for sharing with us today. You've been an inspiration. You've always been an inspiration, but what an amazing business, what an amazing person, what an amazing heart you have. It's been absolutely great. If people want to find you, Johanna, do you do any mentoring or training with photographers?
I do. I've got on my website, it's johannaelizabeth.com. I've got a section for photographers. At the moment, I will take on training about the boudoir element, posing, lighting, the psychology. I've created a service called the Mindful Mastery of Boudoir Photography. It was very worrying to me I was thinking of writing a book, and I was speaking to lots of boudoir photographers at the photography show a couple of years ago. And out of 9 boudoir photographers or people who shot that kind of stuff, only one person said to me that they'd ever considered the psychological well-being of the lady in front of them. Wow. And I found that quite chilling, because it meant the other 8 people looked at me like I'd grown another head and hadn't even considered the person in front of them. And I think that's not even just boudoir related. Any woman can feel not comfortable, you know, and we've got a huge responsibility to not affect them. We can cause permanent damage, basically, not just to women, men too, you know, by being flippant, by treating them as a subject and not seeing the person in front of us. So that kind of sparks something in me to go, I need to speak more about this. I do speak on the speaking circuit. I love to be booked. As you can tell, I like to talk. I've got a lot to say on the subject. I'm hoping next year to take on a university course, which is going to give me some qualifications in it. So I can say, yeah, I'm qualified actually to comment. But yeah, I think it's a real problem in our industry, and a lot of people are picking up boudoir because they see it as an easy buck, because women are going to spend more money for it. But with that lies great responsibility. And I don't feel, having been in the subject for a long time and looked out there, I don't think we're serving women the way that we should. So yeah, I'm keen to do that. My business training is on the back hold at the moment of being able to take on people mentoring for that. But yeah, as far as the mindful mastery, that's where I want to go. So
very good. Very good. Exciting times. I look forward to seeing the book. I know I will someday.
I can't wait. Yeah, I've got a couple of ideas. It's been fun mapping that out and considering it. So
when I buy my copy, I'll be sending one to you to autograph for me.
Hell, I'll send you one signed. What are you talking about?
So yeah, so I don't think we let everyone in on the banana secret, will we?
Yeah, if you want.
Anyway, so we have a code word in 3XM. So we always have Johanna's order, and Johanna rings Neve, our client happiness manager, or she'll connect with me, and she just goes banana, and that's the key word for Johanna's order's in, get it done, get it there.
I love it. I can literally email the word banana and then I get an invoice back, I pay it instantly, and they just appear on my doorstep 2 days later. It's just like some kind of magical, no words. Nobody needs to say anything. Just
Yeah. So if you want a code word,
funny.
if you want your very own code word, like Johanna, it has to be different than banana, because then there'd be confusion because you get Johanna's order instead of your orders.
Bananas.
All right. Johanna, thank you so much again. Stay safe and healthy, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We know you've got a lot of inspiration from this. If you've any questions, reach out to Johanna at johannaelizabeth.com.
Yeah,
that's her website. And stay safe and healthy, everybody. Thank you so much, Johanna.
Thank you.
We all disappear together, so I'll talk to you soon.
All the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye.